welcome to the Royal Calcutta Turf Club Calcutta Races Monsoon meeting, penultimate day in the 9-day Tuesday 24th September 2024 race preview. The first race of the afternoon is the No Regrets Handicap for horses rated 1 to 26 to be run over a distance of about 1400 meters. We got 8 runners going to purse for this one. The first runner we are looking at is Amadeus. Amadeus has had a couple of starts. This was in the winter season where Amadeus in first start finished on 5th in race number 111 over 1200 meters. The start we are looking at, Amadeus went over 1100 meters in race number 132, was in 6th spot as they entered the home straight, and the jockey tried his best, but Amadeus could only eventually finish on 6th. The winner here was Sea Salt Caramel, who eventually have about 3 lengths to spare. Looking at 3 runners, Diamond Rain, Elite and Diamond Gold. Diamond Rain last start was in race number 40 where it was in 3rd spot as they entered the home straight, and the race became really serious. Diamond Rain dropped back and eventually finished on 4th. Diamond Gold was running in midfield and most part after being a little slowly out of the gates, eventually finished on 6th, and Elite, who was racing in 4th spot as they entered the home straight, made up a placing down the center and eventually finished on 3rd. The winner here was Liban. Number 3 is Sunflare. This was over 2000 meters, the last start for Sunflare. This was on race number 47. Raced very keenly throughout despite the jockey trying to get a hold of Sunflare. Eventually took up the running about 1500 meters to go, and then the early exertions really took a toll on Sunflare, who dropped back and finished on tailed off last. The winner here was Primo Victoria, who eventually had about a length and 3 parts to spare. Number 5 is Tiger Blood. Tiger Blood had one start in this monsoon season in race number 34, went over 1800 meters, was leading the pack as you can see with the white cap, with the blue jacket, and then when the race really came to a boil, Tiger Blood dropped back and eventually finished on 4th of 9 runners. The winner here was Aretha, who had about 3 lengths to spare on the field. Number 8, Oh My Sweetheart, who was planted in her last start. Earlier 2 starts, Oh My Sweetheart finished on 4th and 6th. Over here the winner was Hoping Sky. Number 7 is Valnarina. Valnarina had one start, sparingly raced filly. So far she's had 5 career starts. Last start she was in 2nd spot as the race came to the last 200 meters. Then there was a late surge by others. Tenderheart absolutely drew away from the field, and Valnarina eventually saved place money and finished on 3rd. The mount of P. Tejeshwar today. We move on to the second race of the afternoon. The Bold Raider Plate for maiden horses, 3-year-old only, rated 21 to 46, rated 1 to 26, eligible to be ridden by jockeys of nationality, to be run over a distance of about 1200 meters. First up, we are looking at 3 runners which went up against each other. This from race number 33. We had Matangi, No Worries, Sensational. Matangi was a little slowly out of the gates, was in 3rd spot after being brushed up, and eventually finished on 3rd. No Worries, who was in 4th spot, made some late gains down the center and finished up 2nd. Sensational, who was racing in 2nd spot until the last 200 meters where it started to drop back and eventually finished on 5th. The winner here was Champagne Supernova. Number 4 is Marcolini. Marcolini is Dreamfield out of Terracina. One start for Marcolini. This was in race number 22. Was a little slowly out of the gates. Then took the turn in 3rd spot, but could do as finish on 3rd in a small field of 3. The winner here was Trahila, who got the race eventually by almost half a length, beating Dubai Princess in 2nd. Moving on to the third race of the afternoon, the Slate Valley Handicap for horses rated 61 to 86, rated 41 to 66, eligible to be run over a distance of about 1400 meters. First up, we are looking at 2 runners from race number 48, Dandi Satyagraha, Dragon's Gold. Dandi Satyagraha was a little slowly out of the gates. This run was over 2000 meters, and Dandi Satyagraha then took charge into the last 300 meters and won the race by almost 5 lengths. And Dragon's Gold, who was winner of earlier 2 starts in the season already. Over here, Dragon's Gold was in second spot, then started to really backpedal, eventually finished on 5th of 6 runners. Today, Dragon's Gold ridden by Hindu Singh, Dandi Satyagraha by Anthony Raj. You're looking at 2 runners again, Buckley, and 9 is Clever Hans. Buckley, who was in 8th spot, then came up and eventually finished on 2nd on the track, but was aborted the race eventually after the winner on track was disqualified. And the other runner was number 9, Clever Hans. This was in race number 25, and Clever Hans eventually finished on 8th. Number 3 is Beauty Blaze. Beauty Blaze came down from Hyderabad, has had 2 starts, one in the winter season where in race number 179 finished on 4th, and 1 start in the current monsoon season where in race number 19 was in 10th spot as they entered the home straight, eventually finished on 10th. And the mount of Nikhil Naidu is Beauty Blaze, who is by Top Class out of Lucy in the Sky. Number 4 is True Marshall. Couple of starts for True Marshall in this season. Race number 13 finished on 5th over 1400 meters. Went over 1600 meters last start in race number 29. The one we are looking at was in 4th spot and kept plodding and eventually finished on 4th. The winner here was Dragon's Gold, who eventually had almost length and a quarter to spare on the second horse. Free runners, 5 Blackstone, 7 Eternal Princess and 10 Gyama. Blackstone, who was in 3rd spot, eventually came out and finished on 2nd. Number 7, which is Eternal Princess. Eternal Princess was in 5th spot, stayed on in 5th, and Gyama, who took the turn in 8th spot, made up a placing and eventually finished on 7th. The winner here was Merope, who put daylight between her and the other runners. Number 8 is Galacticus. Galacticus had 1 start in this season in race number 13 where he was in 4th spot, then started to come up and eventually finish on 2nd, but the race was already sewn up by Merope, who won the race eventually by a distance, and Galacticus did the next best thing, finished on 2nd. Today the mount of Suraj Naredu. Finally, we've got 11 Prince Abir. Prince Abir, who took the turn in 7th spot, stayed on in 7th. The winner here was Fancy Nancy. Prince Abir today the mount of P. Surya. So that's the lineup for the 3rd race of the day. So we move on to the 4th and feature race of the afternoon, the Multitude Cup for horses rated 95 and above, to be run over a distance of about 1200 meters. First of all, you're looking at 3 runners, Savvy Chick, Cool Rider, and 7 is Gazinos. Savvy Chick, who was racing in 2nd spot, stayed on in 2nd. Cool Rider, who was leading the pack until the last 100 meters, where was overtaken by Agnostic and eventually beaten for pace and finished on 3rd. And number 7 was Gazino, who's been very consistent in this race, has been running 3rd, 4th for most while, including this start where took the turn in 4th spot, eventually finished on 4th. The winner, as I said, was Agnostic. Number 3 is Amazonia. 2 starts for Amazonia in this season. Both starters finished on 5th, and race number 5 finished on 5th over 1200 meters behind Clifford. Last start was in 6th spot, then made up a placing and eventually finished on 5th. The winner this time was Agnostic. Amazonia today ridden by Nikhil Naidu. Couple of runners, redoubtable Flying Scotsman. Flying Scotsman was winner in earlier start in race number 19. In this race, Flying Scotsman raced in third spot for most while and eventually finished on third. Redoubtable, this was third start for Redoubtable, has been unplaced in each of his four starts, including the last start where finished on 8th of 8. The winner was Sea Lion, who practically made every post a winning one. Got number 5, Merope. What a comeback it's been for Merope. 2 stars, 2 wins. In race number 13, went over 1400 meters and won. In race number 43, the last start, went over 1200 meters, was in second spot. Then when asked by the jockey to accelerate, boy did she accelerate. Went away from them, won by 6 lengths, beating Blackstone in second. Number 8, Golden Oaks, coming back after a break, had an extensive winter season. The start is from the last start Golden Oaks had, where in race number 158 was in second spot. When the race came to a boil, Golden Oaks really dropped back and eventually finished on 6th, last of 6. And after the race, it was observed that Golden Oaks was bleeding from nostrils. Fifth race of the day, the Sri Priya handicap for horses rates 41 to 66, rate 21 to 46, eligible to be ridden by jockeys of Indian nationality, to be run over a distance of about 1600 meters. Got 4 runners which went up against each other. Last start in race number 51, we had Dubai Gold, eventually was finished on 7th. We had number 4 was Wonderful, was winner of an earlier start, since then has had couple of placed efforts, including this start where Wonderful finished on 3rd. We had number 5 was Felix, who was a winner of earlier start in race number 18. Over here, Felix finished on 4th. Number 7 was Amalfitana. This was the 3rd start for Amalfitana, has been unplaced in each of his 3 starts, and last start she was a little slowly out of the gates and eventually finished on 10th after leading the pack for most while. Number 2 is Zuma. Zuma, what a start this was for Zuma. Fought with Lady Sunshine for most part of the Hastings Straits and eventually did not surrender the lead and prevailed by the shortest possible margin of nose. And today again ridden by Yash Naidu. Surses a lot of forest vision is the pedigree for Zuma. Number 3 is Black Coffee, signed off the winter season with a win in race number 53. The start we are looking at is from the current season in race number 42. This was the comeback for Black Coffee after a break, where Black Coffee raced in 5th spot for most while, then dropped back and eventually finished on 7th of 10 runners. The winner here was King Street, who eventually got the race by almost 5 lengths, and today Black Coffee ridden again by Nikhil Naidu. Number 6 is Salome. Salome, this was the first start after coming down from Hyderabad and was racing in 5th spot for most while. Then when asked for an effort, started to really drop back and eventually finished on 7th of 8 runners. The winner here was True Faith, who eventually had about half a length to spare on the second place toss. So we move on to the 6th and last race of the day, the Fly Like the Wind handicap for horses rate 21 to 46, rate 1 to 26, eligible to be run over a distance of about 2000 meters. First, if you're looking at Oremelo, started the season with a 4th placed effort, then had a win in race number 15. Last start, Oremelo was racing in 4th spot. This was over 1800 meters and in race number 28, and then started to bridge the gap, but the winner Sativur drifted out on the outer track, but had almost 6 lengths to spare on Oremelo, who did the next best thing, finished on 2nd. Number 2, Power Racer. Number 5, War Trail. Power Racer, this was 2nd start for Power Racer in this season. First up in race number 9, finished on 5th. Over here, Power Racer finished on 6th. War Trail was winner of an earlier start and since then has had 3 starts, 4th, and this start finished on 6th. 8th of 10 runners. The winner here was Main Street. War Trail today ridden by Arman Khan. Power Racer by Vinay Jaswal. Number 3 is Aretha. After knocking on the doors in quite a few races, Aretha had finally came good in her last start, where she was racing in third spot. When asked to accelerate towards the inside, tried to draw away from the field, eventually had almost 3 lengths to spare on the second place top, which was Sunflare, who made some late gains, but Aretha was home and dry. Couple of runners born to be spoiled. Sagittari was one start in this season so far, was slowly out of the gates, was in 5th spot, made up a placing and eventually finished on 4th. And the other runner was Born to be Spoiled. Born to be Spoiled has had couple of starts, was also slow out of the gates this time, took the turn in 8th spot, made up a placing and eventually finished on 7th. The winner here was Norwegian Word, who practically made it a start to finish affair. Final runner we are looking at is Happy Morning, Aurazan out of Queen of Hearts. 3 starts, all of them in this monsoon season, has been unplaced in 3 starts. Race number 3 finished on 10th. Race number 17 was a little slowly out of the gates, eventually finished on 5th. Last start was in 2nd spot into the home straight, then tried to backpedal, eventually finished on 9th of 10. And it was noted after the race that the Happy Morning was trotting lame. Today the Mount of P. Surya. So that's the lineup for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching and see you at the races.